What does it mean to be an organic agronomist?
There are some things that are basic agronomy and are going to translate perfectly well. Good varieties, seedling vigor, the nutrients a crop needs to grow. Those are not going to change. What's changing with nutrients are how we're supplying them. Okay. And so everything about an organic system is more ambiguous than the conventional system because we have reduced conventional corn and soybeans to, sort of a recipe.
There's a lot of things that a person needs to know about organic systems and about the organic world, beyond just how do you pull a soil test and amend the soil to fit that test. There's just a lot more to it than that. So you can't really just hang out a shingle and say, "Hey, I'm a certified crop advisor. I can work with organic farmers too." It doesn't quite work that way.
A lot of people start off wanting to do all these crazy far out things, and they come back in 3 or 4 years after I tell them for 3 or 4 years that, hey, the real things that work is getting the NPK right, your soil balance, and a good crop rotation. That's 98% of it.
I do see the advisor role, and I'm advising a young farmer now who's been in organics a couple of years, as more a co-learning thing with the advisor and the farmer than I know all the answers and I'm going to tell them to you.
Any advice for others working with transitioning growers?
Yeah, I start with, what's your rotation plan? Seriously, it's my first question. What are you going to plant this year? Okay, what are you going to plant the years after that? And then have you secured a certifier? Have you talked to a certifier? Occasionally, you do have to just grind through the rules about the 36 months without a prohibited substance before the crop is harvested. And I don't talk to them at that period about an organic systems plan. It's really what they're building. But it's like, how many acres do you think you're going to transition? How much land do you have? So the plan, and the very first thing is a rotation plan.
Number one, do figure out a crop rotation. It might work, it might not work, but at least you have a plan. Number two, figure out how you're going to market and sell everything and risk manage. And number three, do you have enough manure to support that rotation? You can't get away from it. There's a reason in 1960s people farmed the way they did. It's because good crop rotation made the farm. It's not saying you have to farm like in 1960s, but those principles of crop rotation still hold. I think the successful one is being able to accept a rotation that might not make as much money, but set you up for organic in the long run. And I have guys that do good rotations in transition and do 200 to 230 bushels organic the first year out of the gate.
For someone who's going into it first, I suggest transitioning 1% equal to, the rotation, 1/3 of a 3-year rotation or 1/5 of a 5-year rotation, and then just start the round robin cycle.
If they can get over the hump of how to incorporate a different rotation of corn and soybeans, they can move on to the next step of thinking of how to sell everything and market everything and risk manage.
Somebody who's been working with chemicals, they know that the only way to control something is using a jug. You need to help them transition their mindset from the idea that every problem is solved using a jug. We need an integrated management system, and that is what organic is all about. You have to be able to hold the hand of the grower and walk with him step by step. And you cannot do it if you're not willing to expand your horizon, expand your knowledge.
Be prepared to diversify the tools that you use. In a conventional system, you have a fairly tight and small toolbox that is narrowed in on kind of optimized production techniques. And I would say that in organics, for it to succeed, you've got to do a lot of things about a lot of different areas of production. And to do that, I would recommend talking to as many organic farmers and gardeners as you can, actually. That for me, although I've done research over the years, my best sources of information have often been my grower partners and just kind of listening to them, sometimes talking about what went wrong, using those stories and that kind of oral tradition, oral history, in combination with the scientific literature and extension literature.
And what kinds of support are going to be the most useful for organic growers?
One of the strategies is always help the farmer understand his soil and also set some realistic yield potential for that ground. We need to build that soil.
Who's pulling the soil samples now? Now, a lot of farmers do it themselves, but if they're not able to, that is probably the first entry point, to tell you the truth, just because they've had that done for them previously.
When I first came to Timeless, talking with growers, I asked them, so who has done soil tests? There are those who had done some soil tests, and there are those who didn't even want to do it because they say, so after I do the soil test, what next? Because one, there's nobody to make any recommendation, because the existing agronomists don't have any idea how do I recommend anything for this organic grower. What product is out there? I know there is 1152, I know there's 18460, and I know all these, fertilizers, but I have no knowledge of what is existing out there in organics and how to recommend that. But we need more people at the local place. We need more agronomists within the region, within the locality, to be able to address organic production in every environment.
Any advisor on anything in the world, you're a bit of a psychologist, right, as well as an agronomist. And good luck, because none of us have training in psychology, but we are humans. I mean, okay, we work with people.
You're on an island, and having somebody that you can call and talk to that's not going to judge you or go behind your back and talk about your failures, because there's going to be failures, that really, really is what you want to sell into a person, that you're going to be with the successes and failures. And there is good money there when there's success. So people are willing to pay for somebody that goes along the ride with them. And that's what I've seen. I hope, well, I think I do have really loyal customers that I've taken that ride with too.
The people who aren't willing to try something new, they can't stand to not be out of the mainstream. And so typically, I don't think those are the people we're working with, which is fine. That's just fine. They're not that fun to work with.
Organic agronomists do sell inputs though, right?
Really, a manure source, a sulfur source, a calcium source, and a fungicide source will take care of 99% of the problems.
You're coming to a place and you get the grower who tells you, oh, I've been working with this guy who's been supplying me these. And then you ask, so what have you seen? He said, I've not seen anything yet, but, we are working on it. And you say, are you paying? And he said, yes. To me, that is the most frustrating thing. Because organic growers, they are desperate for something that works for them. And as agronomists, we need to work out ways to minimize the exposure of our growers to unsubstantiated information or products that do not do what is claimed that it could do.
There's a lot of bugs in the jug. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. And I'm not saying some of it doesn't work. I'm just saying a lot of it doesn't work. I would not sleep at night with what some of these people are trying to sell to the organic farmer. The organic farmer does not need a whole bunch of products, and they don't need them jacked up 200, 300% for you to sell them. What you can make money on, what you should be doing, is you should have a base set of products that are satisfied at NP&K and charge the farmer to be there to help them think through problems. They're on an island here, and they're willing to pay people. You might not have the answers, but if somebody's willing to come out and help them think through it, there's enough money there to pay for that. And in return, you'll learn what products are needed, and he'll buy them from you because he respects you and he knows that you're going to help him solve problems. And I think the other path that we see is people see big dollars on the organic corn and they think they can go sell a bug in a jug or something at 5 times the price of what it should be. And I catch that. It comes all through me. I see it. And I tell the farmer next year they don't work with them. And eventually these agronomy centers don't do any business in the area. I have enough people. I'm full. I can't really take any more people to work with right now. So I want the agronomy centers to do well, and I want them to succeed because people need certain products. They just don't need everything that's being sold to them. But they really need somebody that goes in there and helps them, sits down with them, and they're willing to pay more for that than a product they don't need.